What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. We got to talk about the New Orleans Pelicans because this team is playing super damn good basketball. They're the one seed in the West, and they're not getting a lot of recognition for some reason, but I'm going to give it to them because I think that they have a really, really deep roster, possibly the deepest in the NBA, or at least one of the deepest. They've got a superstar player in Zion. They've got excellent all-star level players next to him and really good coaching. There's just a lot of good things to talk about, but let's give them some credit. All right. Before I do, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. Thank you. So they're 16-8 overall, first seed in the West, 10-2 in their last 12 games on a 5-game win streak, just playing phenomenal basketball. They're beating good teams like the Denver Nuggets, who I think are going to be really, really good. They beat the Raptors, who I think have a really, really good team. They beat Golden State by like 50 in a game where Zion didn't even really have to try. They've got some good wins on the record. They beat the Bulls a couple times. They've been competitive in other games. I really like the momentum that they picked up. I know they're like top 10 in offensive rating. I think they might even be top 6 or maybe even higher than that by now. They're top 5 in defensive rating. Last I saw was they were like 3rd in the NBA in defensive rating. So being, like a top 5 or 6 team on both sides of the ball kind of shows that they've got a really, really good path to making some noise as the season goes along, so long as they stay healthy. That's going to be the biggest thing in my opinion. But I'm wishing them nothing but great health. Zion is healthy. He is playing excellent basketball. We're going to get into him a little bit. Did a video on him a few days ago. Check that one out if you're interested. I'll put it in the link at the end of the video. And I just love the way they're playing overall because they can shoot, they can play, they can get the mid range. Zion can get to the rim literally whenever he wants, and then they just lock down on defense. They're on a 5-game win streak. They're 10-2 in the last 12, first in the West, and Brandon Ingram's missed a huge chunk of this season. And if anybody watched them last year, especially in the playoffs, Brandon Ingram was giving them boys on the Phoenix Suns 30. He was putting up 30. He was killing it, and he is an all-star level player. He's made an all-star team before. He's a guy that can literally go off for 40 any given night. He's a bucket. They haven't had him, and they're still dominating these games. I just really wonder how good they can really be once he gets back. And the third top guy on their team, CJ McCollum, last 3 games he shot like 8 for 33. And on this 5-game winning streak, on the last 3 games, he shot 8 for 33. CJ McCollum is a very efficient shooter. I think he's like 45% for his career, maybe even higher. He's going to bounce back. He's going to get it figured out eventually. I know he's coming off the injury. That's probably what's lingering with him a little bit, but he's going to get it figured out. So he's going to probably, rise back to the level that he's used to playing at, which means the team's probably going to get even better because he's going to be more efficient. They just, the top 3 really hasn't even been all that locked in together, and they're still winning these games. So once they do get it figured out and get it clicking, oh my God, it's going to be so hard to stop. So obviously this team would not be on this 5-game win streak without Zion Williamson being an absolute god at basketball, because there's nothing you can do to him that's going to stop him. He just finds a way out of doubles. They literally just dribble his way out of it and go at the rim, dunk it, destroy your best player on defense. Does not matter. I don't know if there's a single NBA player I don't know if there's anybody that can guard him anywhere on the court. I don't think anybody has a chance one-on-one. He's too strong and he's too fast. He has a really unique, blend of size and speed, and he's really agile, acrobatic in the air. Like guys like Giannis they're more stiff, but they're so hard because they're just overpowering. He's overpowering while being crafty. Not to say Giannis isn't crafty, but he just has a different way of getting to the rim where he's going up and underneath people. It's different. And I think he's just absolutely amazing. On this 5-game win streak, he's averaging like 28 points a game, like 10 rebounds and like 6 assists, largely just stepping up to that superstar level that we all hoped he'd be when he got drafted #1 overall a few years ago. So I just love the role that he's been playing. He started off a little slow this season, but it's kind of, you should have expected that given he didn't play at all last season. So it's been a long time since he played an NBA game. And then, so now he's really picking it up. The last, I'd say 15 games plus, he's been on another level, well on his way to an all-star team. And if he keeps doing this, he's going to creep his way into that MVP conversation. And I think he's going to, because there's nothing you can do. And it's amazing to watch if you're a fan, because it's just a spectacle every time. Well, I talked about the stars, and obviously if you want to do anything in the playoffs or you want to be a great team, you need your stars. But we got to talk about these role players, because this is really where it's making a difference compared to the depth that they didn't have a couple years ago. A couple years ago, Zion was kicking out to Eric Bledsoe. Like, there was nothing there for him to kick out to. Now he's kicking out to Trey Murphy, who's shooting like 40% from 3, can give you 13, 14 points a game. He's been really, really good. I think he's shooting like 48% overall, plays good defense. He's a highlight reel at times too. I didn't know he had that in his game, but he can dunk on you. He's really, really solid. I like Trey Murphy. He kind of came on last year in the playoffs, particularly. He started to really show what he could do out there. The playing games, he was really good. So, and then he had a really good summer league. I know I talked about that a couple months ago. And then now we're in, the regular season, and he looks really, really solid. And that's all these teams, they need big wings who can shoot the three. He's the prototypical guy that everybody wants. Got to talk about Grand Theft Alvarado. That guy, Jose Alvarado, has been fantastic. Like there's an argument you can make for him to being the best backup point guard in the league. I take Tyus Jones, but I think he's right there. I think he's making his way. He's a young guy, so he's got a lot to progress to, and he's already really good. He just put up like 38 a couple nights ago off the bench. I think it was off the bench. 38 points off the bench, hit like 8 threes. He can shoot. He's really, really pesky on defense. He can set up his teammates. He's a really quality, good player, especially for the role that they need him to fill. He does a really damn good job at it. You need your guys off the bench to be productive and be effective, because you can't just be a starting unit with no bench. You're not going to win anything in the NBA like that. You won't win a title doing that. So the role he plays is very, very crucial, and I don't think he gets a lot of credit. But he deserves some because he's been fantastic. 38 points off the bench. That is spectacular. Then we can get into Jonas Valanciunas a little bit. He's just one of those steady, just consistent every single game, every single year. You can expect, he'd give you 16 points, 12 rebounds on most nights. Like I don't know if he's going to average that all the time, but when he's on, and he plays a very, very significant role for this team because he is their best big. So to have a center that can go out there and get you 16 points, maybe shoot the three here and there, he can knock down the midi every once in a while, and he's really good in the paint. Really great screen setter. Not the greatest rim protector, but he does a decent enough job at it. So I think that he's a really, really good fit on their team. It works well. It's better than what Steven Adams was. And that's not to trash Steven Adams, because he's a really quality NBA player. But Valanciunas is a better fit, and it's showing because Zion is able to play a little bit more loose with him on the floor than he was with Steven Adams. Got to give the rookie some love too. Dyson Daniels, very high pick. He's been a quality player. He was touted as a really damn good defender coming out of the draft, and he's been as advertised on that. He can shoot a little bit as the season's gone on. He's starting to get better and better. He's getting more minutes, and I think like most rookies, you'll see them get better as the season goes along, because does take a second to get used to the NBA speed. And I think he's done a pretty good job, being that backup guard off the bench. He can start here and there if you need him to. He's just a good player, and he's got a good future, and he doesn't have to do a lot, which really helps him kind of just fitting into this team. I talked about how amazing Dyson can be on defense. We're going to talk about amazing defense. Herb Jones, one of the best defenders, perimeter defenders, especially in the NBA, all NBA level defender. The shooting can be hit or miss. It is what it is, but he'll give you, 10, 11 points while locking up the other team's best player. Every defense needs somebody that can go out there and guard the other team's best perimeter player. Every single one of them. And Herb does a fantastic job locking down. It's an unsung role, but he's, for being I think he was a second round pick last year, being able to be as productive as he is this early, awesome to see. Lockdown defender, all NBA defense, put him in there. I don't know why. Did he even make a all rookie team last year? I don't remember if he did. I think there might have been something that happened with that, but he deserves some credit. He's fantastic. Lockdown, doesn't matter who he's guarding, gonna do a great job. We got to get to the bigs a little bit. Willie Hernangomez. And then you got Larry Nance. I love Larry Nance. I'm a Laker fan, so he's drafted by us. He's turned into a really, really quality player. We'll talk about Nance real quick. He can shoot I think he's shooting like 40% from three or close to it. I don't know how many he takes a game, but I know he can knock it down. It's gonna give you a highlight reel every once in a while. Really, really sound defender. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Just another guy off the bench that doesn't cost you games, but he can help you win them. So I think that that's something that really matters. Willie Hernangomez is somebody that can come in a game. He can give you 10 points, 6 rebounds every once in a while. Just having guys that can do different things, that can provide, that can make an impact, is something that is really, really critical to championship level teams. And they've got a bunch of these dudes that can all do that. And the thing that I like is they have, guys that do different things. Like, Jonas is going to be really good for rebounding, setting screens, maybe some dunks, maybe an open three every once in a while. Trey Murphy is going to be a spot up shooter that can attack you off the dribble and get a dunk. Zion's going to literally do whatever he wants. Brandon Ingram's a bucket from all 3 levels on the court. CJ McCollum, same thing. Really good creator. Same with Ingram. Same with Zion. They have 3 really good creators, which is something they haven't had in I don't know how long. And they just had, that's just those guys. Herb Jones, defense. Dyson Daniels, defense. Like, they've got so much going on. And I just don't know what NBA team in the West I would like. Who in the West can you definitively say is better than them? Nobody. And we're saying this right now when we haven't even seen Brandon Ingram in like a month. And once that guy gets back, you're getting a 25 point per game kind of guy that can go out there, give you 25 points, 7, 8 assists, few rebounds. When he wants to play defense, he's really good at it. So I think now you're going to really see his defense mature because he's not carrying the entire load without Zion. And the same thing for Zion. Now he's not going to be carrying the entire load. So you're going to see his defense even better, which it has been. So I just think they have a really unique blend of talent all throughout the roster. I think they might be the deepest team in the NBA. I think the Celtics are probably the other one. And it's just awesome because, they went through this rebuild. They went through, the Anthony Davis saga. They've gone through the injuries with Zion. So to see them getting the fans, especially getting rewarded with this kind of team that's, 16-8 first in the West. I don't know anybody that had them being first in the West. I didn't have them first. I thought they'd be top 4. Obviously, we still got, 60 games in the season, whatever it is. But I think that this team could legitimately finish as the first seed in the West because they have so much talent and it's kind of gelling all at the right time. And then they have a coach that just knows when to pull the strings, and he's really good at getting the best out of guys. And I think that's really crucial. I'm not going to go too in depth on Willie Green as the coach because I think he's just doing a fantastic job. And I think you can just leave it at that. Makes adjustments when you need to. And, he gives guys chances. And, those guys typically are going to do well because he puts them in spots where they can succeed in those chances. So I like it. I love this roster. Obviously, I'm a huge Brandon Ingram fan. I'm becoming Zion is just climbing up the board of my favorite players. It's just I love watching this team. They play both sides of the ball. What else can you ask for? If you want to see a really, really good team play in the West, this is probably the one I would tell you to tune into. Do you agree or disagree with that? Do you think this team is the deepest team in the West? At least I think definitely in the West. NBA can the East with the Celtics. That's a whole different argument. But I think that they're super deep. They're well coached. They can do a lot of different things. I can't wait to see how the rest of the season plays out, so long as they're healthy. CJ's hopefully he gets back to normal. Brandon Ingram's got to get back from that toe injury. But good luck to anybody in the playoffs playing them if they're healthy, because that is not going to be fun. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But let's give the Pelicans some love because the national media is not going to do it, but I will. Thank you for watching. I'm done here. Peace.